Hey guys, today we'll be doing a short review of the iPhone 16e, which in my opinion is one of the greatest budget iPhones Apple has ever made. Sure, currently it's still not so cheap because you can get the iPhone 15 for around the same price, or some refurbished iPhones as well, but with time the price will come down and will become even better. But at least in my home country, you can find the iPhone 16e for like $600, $650 new, which is really good price comparing to the iPhone 15, which in my country costs like $700, $750. Anyways, well, let's talk about this phone. I really like the design. It's one of the first things you can notice. It's very minimalistic. Sure, you only have one camera, but it reminds me a lot of the iPhone 4S, their design, and especially with the one camera. But it's just not a mediocre camera like they used to have on the iPhone SE. It's a really good camera, okay? Before I bought this phone, I had loads of prejudice, thinking, oh, okay, this is gonna be horrible because it only has one camera with a small sensor. But it's not like that. It's actually a really good camera. I'm gonna talk about that later. The processor is really good. It's super fast, okay? It doesn't have the highest benchmarks ever, but it's really fast. You don't feel anything, It runs really, really well on iOS 26. A lot different comparing to my iPhone 11 Pro Max that I tested as well. It's horrible on iOS 26, but on this phone it's amazing. On the iPhone 16 it's just amazing. Everything, no slowdowns whatsoever. You don't even notice the 60 Hz the screen, okay? You don't even notice. Okay, everyone says that, but it's really true. Like on this iPhone, the screen feels like maybe like 75 to 90 Hz. It really does, okay? If you compare, especially if you compare to like a mid-range Android phone that costs around $600. But anyways, as you see, I love the design, and the screen is really good. I'm actually surprised. It's just over Full HD, it's like almost 2K. It's really sharp, okay? It's a really nice OLED. Sure, it's not the brightest ever, but it's bright enough, okay? It's the same screen as the iPhone 14. If you want to know, actually, the screen on the iPhone 16e has a higher resolution compared to the S25 base model, okay? Sure, it doesn't have 120 Hz, but it has a higher resolution. Not all phones can say that, okay? And I actually can notice this, okay? But sure, because I use loads of phones, so I can see the difference, but I actually can notice. And the sound is actually amazing. It's just extraordinary. I wasn't expecting the sound to be this good, but if I compare to my S24 Plus that I currently have as well, the S24 Plus doesn't have a sound as good as the iPhone 16e. The iPhone 16e just has a, like, how do I say this? It has a more stereo sound, It feels, it's just better, okay? It's hard to explain, but it has more depth, the sound. And the cameras, let's talk about the cameras. Well, the camera's right, because you have the frontal camera and then you have the back camera. Well, the only negative thing about this camera that I was really let down is that you can't do portrait mode of animals and objects, something that, come on, I mean, it's the same thing the iPhone XR, the same issue they had, This was just something like software based that Apple could fix it, okay? It feels a bit cheap. But apart from that, look at the photos. The photos are amazing, even with the small sensor. If you want to know, like, if you want to have like some idea, this sensor is the same size sensor as the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11, okay? But it has 48 megapixels instead of 12, okay? So it's a much smaller sensor compared to the newer iPhones, but it's really good. Even in low light, it's good enough, because the processing Apple does in the night mode, makes up for it. And the 2x digital zoom is pretty good, okay? It's even better to compare to the old optical zooms the iPhone used to have, like the iPhone 8 Plus and stuff like that. Look at the photos. The photos are good, okay? The front camera is actually really, really good, okay? That's where I don't see any compromises. The photos were excellent, okay? It's still not as good as my S24 Plus, which in my opinion is one of the best front cameras out there. But it's good, it's really good. But the back cameras are really good as well. I didn't notice as much as I would have thought, the downgrade on sensor size and stuff like that. The only downside is, as I told you, if you like taking pictures of your dog, portrait photos of your dog or of objects and stuff like that, then you won't like this phone, okay? But you can even shoot in full 48 megapixels, okay? So that's really good. And the photos, as you can see, they're really good. They're not the best photos ever, okay? But if you compare this to an iPhone 16, you hardly notice any difference between the main cameras. You won't have an ultra-wide camera, but you get used to it, okay? Ultra-wide cameras are not that new, okay? Like 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, we didn't used to have them, and you were just fine, okay? People just like complaining about stuff too much. The battery, which people said it was the best ever, is something actually I wasn't that impressed. It's not a bad battery at all, okay? In my opinion, I think it's even better than the iPhone 16 base model, but it's not as good as the iPhone 16 Plus or the 16 Pro Max, okay? It's a good battery, but it's not as good as the other ones. I think probably maybe because I'm using iOS 26 beta. So, hopefully the battery will improve, but I can't say that for sure, okay? So, the battery is good. It's very good. It's better than the iPhone 16, but not as good as the 16 Plus. But it's still. So it has a solid battery, a very good screen, okay? Super fast processor, very good sound, very good cameras. Not the best ever, but very good, for every day. So what's that missing? What are you missing here? Oh, you don't have MagSafe, which is something that I actually like quite a lot nowadays. But it's not a must-have, okay? It doesn't have MagSafe, but it has wireless charging. It has a IP68. It has all the basics. It charges fast enough, like 50% in half an hour. So it's just like all other iPhones. So like Apple took away some stuff, but not too much that you notice. Like this phone is good for 90% of people, okay? That's how confident I am on this phone. And like the only issue, like if Apple just gave us like cinematic mode and portrait mode of objects and pets, that's it. That's all we need, okay? That's all I need for this to be the perfect phone. And it's something easy for Apple to do, maybe on the iPhone 17. But honestly, if you can get this on a deal for like $500, it's super worth it, okay? You don't have anything better. You get like a phone that will be updated for the next 5 to 7 years, and it's super fast. It has everything you want. So what more do you need? So I'm really surprised about this phone. And actually, if I want to compare this to the Pixel 10, I prefer much more the iPhone 16e. So, but why is that? The iPhone 16e is way faster, okay, compared to the Pixel 10. And the main camera I actually prefer from the iPhone, okay. I'm looking at the reviews of the Pixel 10. They're not as great as I thought. They downgraded the main camera and the ultra-wide cameras as well. And the Pixel phones just don't know how to take portrait mode photos, okay. That's just that. And the processor is just weak compared to the Apple or even Samsung. But anyways, so yes, definitely buy this. If you can get this for $500, yes. Over $600, I don't think it's worth it, because then you can see refurbished phones like the iPhone 15 Pro Max and stuff like that. So I think $500 is the sweet spot for this phone.